First tonight, the holiday weekend saw a surge in property fires, some of them deadly, and not just here in the Miami Valley, but all across the state. Melena Brown is live now. What have you learned about the fires that were reported, Melena?
Adam, it was a very tragic weekend of losses. There was 10 people that died from 5 different fires across the state, including a barn fire right in Darke County. Our own email system even sent out 19 fire alerts from Friday to Sunday. Now, what we know is that these fires, what people want to know is how these fires started. And while there could be many reasons, there is one that fire officials say that they think was a large factor.
People are using alternative heat sources. They can't afford the natural gas bills or the electric bills, so they're using wood burners, they're using kerosene heaters.
So, Melena, what advice did experts give when it comes to using alternative heating then?
Adam, in that press conference today, officials made it very clear that they know people need heat and they know that people sometimes have to use alternative heat methods, but they really emphasized what safety precautions you need to take to prevent a fire. As you can see here, I'm next to a space heater, and what's really important about these is that you keep them a good, safe distance away from anything that can catch on fire, like clothes and a Christmas tree. We know lots of people still have their trees up, so please just keep this in mind if you do have space heaters. Coming up at 6:30, I have more details on the fires from the past weekend and how you can prevent from being in one this winter. Back to you.
All right, Melena, thanks. The woman accused of kidnapping 5-month-old twin boys from Columbus in court in Indianapolis today. 24-year-old Nala Jackson picked up a new charge for spitting on a sheriff's deputy at the Marion County Jail. That's unrelated to the kidnapping. Jackson told the judge she doesn't want to waste anyone's time, wanted to plead guilty, but the judge said she couldn't do that today. She'll be in court again Thursday. There's no word on when she may be extradited back here to Ohio. Now, she was arrested in Indianapolis in connection with last week's kidnapping of Kyer and Kassan Thomas. The twins were in the back seat of their mother's car when that car was stolen. The abduction sparked a statewide multi-day Amber Alert and Bolo Alert sent to surrounding states. Kyer was found the next day in a parking lot outside the Dayton International Airport. The search for Kassan Thomas continued until he was found in good health inside a car in downtown Indianapolis. Jackson faces 2 counts of kidnapping in Ohio as well as federal charges for bringing Kassan over state lines. The Moraine Police Department, they are asking for your help tonight in a home invasion that happened on Christmas weekend. You could get a cash reward for your information. This is what they said. The police say around 11:30 p.m. on Christmas Day, officials responded to Clearview Road in Moraine to do a welfare check. Officers found 94-year-old Wayman Pete Donagia bound and beaten to the point he was unable to call for help. His home was ransacked. So far, investigators say they know at least 2 suspects were involved. At least 1 vehicle was used. The Moraine Police Department, Donagia's friends, and his family are asking anyone with information to please come forward. The family is offering $5,000 for any information leading to the arrest of those responsible. A celebration of life ceremony being held right now for the 17-year-old Fairborn High School student who died in a car accident 2 weeks ago. Lily Grace Klinger was an honor roll student involved in cross country, the prom committee, and other clubs. Community members and friends of Lily are gathering at the Dayton FOP in Huber Heights until 9 o'clock tonight. Instead of flowers, the family has asked memorial contributions be made to Fairborn High School, which will then be distributed between Lily's favorite clubs in her memory. Live look now from our Kettering House Skycam. It is still slushy outside, and I don't think, Natalie, it doesn't sound like that snow is going to last for much longer.
Yeah, it's going to melt away pretty quickly by later this week. A couple of things that are going to happen. We're going to warm up, and we also have some rain on the way, too. But for right now, it is on just the chilly side. We're right at to slightly below freezing. You can see some spots like Wilmington at freezing at this time. 29 in Dayton, 28 in Troy. We have 28 in Sydney. So it's been a chilly day. Still had lots of melting take place. Tonight, dropping below freezing again. So we'll have to watch out for some slick spots again on the roads. 10 degrees warmer, however, than this time yesterday in Springfield. 8 degrees warmer in Dayton. Satellite and radar showing those cloudier skies around the region. But we will start to see some clearing by tomorrow. It's actually looking like a pretty nice day. Again, that sunshine with those clearing skies will help with some melting. Before tonight, plan on some slick spots around. Lows dropping into the mid-20s. A little bit of a breeze out there, so wind chills will be in the low 20s to teens. So still another cold one. I'll talk about that warm up and when all that snow will melt away coming up.
Natalie, thanks. The death toll from this past weekend's winter storm, it continues to rise tonight. At least 60 people across 12 states died as a result of that weather. At least 31 of those deaths have now been confirmed in Buffalo, New York. It's looking to be the deadliest winter storm the region has ever seen. Now, here's what the Buffalo Police Commissioner says about the grim search and recovery efforts.
So the other unfortunate reality is that as the snow begins to get moved, and as we see in the week when the snow starts to melt, we fully expect that we are going to recover more bodies. We're pretty certain that there's going to be more deaths uncovered that we just cannot see at this point.
Now, Buffalo saw more than 4 feet of snow, coupled with hurricane force winds. That caused whiteouts and widespread power outages. Several people were found dead in their homes where there was no heat and below freezing temperatures indoors. Others were found dead in their cars after being stranded, some for more than 2 days. Some people died while shoveling snow because emergency crews, they were not able to respond to medical crises. Now, officials are just now starting to be able to tow those abandoned vehicles, many buried under piles of snow. This is a tweet from Erie County official Mark Pollenkrans. The reason snow removal efforts are so difficult is because there's nowhere for the plow trucks to move it all. He says in part, quote, "The snow is not plowable. It must be scooped up and put in dump trucks, then dumped elsewhere. It'll take approximately 2 days to open up 1 lane on every city street." Now, Erie County is still under a state of emergency tonight as the region is expected to get hit with another blast of snow today, and flooding is expected later this week as the weather warms and the snow melts. President Biden has approved an emergency disaster declaration for the area. Buffalo authorities say they're still working through about 1,000 police calls. Police are using snowmobiles. Multiple SWAT teams, State Fire, Parks and Corrections, and search and rescue teams are working together. 100 state and military police are being sent to enforce Buffalo's driving ban because regardless of warnings and tickets, people are still taking to the roads for non-essential travel. All right, a live look at FlightAware's delay and cancellation tracker now. You can see nearly 5,000 flights have been canceled today, and there are nearly 17,000 delays. Looking ahead to tomorrow, you can see nearly 3,700 flights have already been canceled, and there are more than 1,000 delays already issued. Now, after those mass cancellations and delays at airports nationwide, the Department of Transportation says it's going to examine Southwest Airlines. It's only flying 1/3 of its schedule nationwide. Just take a look at this tweet from the DOT. It says, quote, "U.S. DOT is concerned by Southwest's unacceptable rate of cancellations and delays and reports of lack of prompt customer service. The department will examine whether cancellations were controllable and if Southwest is complying with its customer service plan." Now, Southwest canceled about 71% of its scheduled flights yesterday. That's more than 3,000 of them. The airline also canceled about 48% of its flights on Sunday. Now, Southwest blames that winter storm, but the Flight Attendants Union blames company leadership. The Pilots Union blames Southwest's IT infrastructure.
The storm that hit last week was the catalyst to this, but what went wrong is that our IT infrastructure for our scheduling software is vastly outdated. Our software can't keep track of it, so they don't know where we are, they don't know where airplanes are, and it's frustrating for the pilots, the flight attendants, and especially our passengers.
So if we go back to FlightAware now, you can see 64% of Southwest flights today were canceled. That's more than 2,600 flights. In comparison with other airlines, United has canceled 72 flights. That's 2%. Delta's canceled 35. That's just 1%. And JetBlue has canceled 30, marking 2%. Well, take a look at this video of what's going on in the Ohio State House tonight. A fire suppression pipe froze, then burst, causing water to flood the Senate floor. You can see it pouring out of the ceiling, too, into a single overflowing trash bin. This was shared by retiring Senator Jay Hottinger, who says, quote, "My last day at the State House is not going very well." Now, this comes after the winter storm this past weekend. We're told restoration crews came in soon enough to avert major damage, and this should not affect the start of the Ohio General Assembly's new session. That's scheduled to convene next week. Now, in just the last few hours, the Supreme Court has ruled that Title 42 will remain in effect for now as legal challenges play out. Now, that means the policy will stay in place until a final ruling. The Trump-era policy allows the U.S. to expel migrants at the border seeking asylum, citing the COVID pandemic. Now, the 5-4 decision reverses lower court decisions that Title 42 had to end in December. 19 states appealed, saying ending the policy would create a crisis of unauthorized migration. Arguments are scheduled for February. Migrant advocates say Title 42 illegally prevents people from making asylum claims to try and enter the U.S. Well, there was another dump of Twitter's internal company documents, what it shows about the White House and its messaging during the pandemic. And sports betting, it is set to become legal in just 5 days. The concerns about a rise in gambling addiction and what's in place to prevent that and help those that need it.
Plus, I'm tracking those climbing temperatures, how warm we'll get. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Just how cold was it in West Virginia? Cold enough to completely freeze Cathedral Falls. The 60-foot falls turned to ice as temperatures plummeted last weekend. Ice could be in the low 60s later this week. And check out the steam coming off this lake about 50 miles east of Nashville. Cold air moving over warmer water creates the steam, but it won't last long. Warmer weather is on the way.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Live look at the White House now. The 10th round of the so-called Twitter files has been released. This time it's related to COVID-19. Elon Musk's dump of internal Twitter company documents showing the White House pushed the social media company to quiet voices who disagreed with government messaging on the pandemic. Now, according to the journalists that released the latest round of these Twitter files, attempts to control the pandemic-related online content began with the Trump White House attempting to mitigate panic buying. Then the pressure continued into the Biden administration, shifting focus to suppressing anti-vaxxers.
These were political issues that they were intervening on, and they were preventing the debate from taking place on the single most influential platform for political discussion, which is Twitter.
So coming up at 6:30 over on Fox 45, we'll hear from those impacted, including a Harvard Medical School epidemiologist, plus what lawmakers say about these recent developments.
Well, clouds still out there for today. A little bit of a fog and mist expected as we do head into the rest of this evening. With sub-freezing temperatures, we'll have to monitor for slick spots out on the roads. But for right now, mostly cloudy skies. We will start to see these clouds break apart a bit as we head overnight into the day tomorrow. In fact, a decent amount of sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow, and you'll see that here. Through the overnight hours, we drop into the 20s, so cold start tomorrow, but there's tomorrow afternoon, sunshine back into the lower 40s, so climbing above freezing tomorrow. It's going to be an improvement for our Wednesday afternoon. Lots of melting to take place. You need a car wash, anything like that. Tomorrow's a good day to do that. Now, cloud cover builds back in ahead of our next weather maker on Thursday, so we start out in the 40s and 30s. And then notice by Thursday afternoon, back into the 50s for us. We'll see a mostly cloudy sky. Our next weather maker then arrives on Friday, so we will start to track some showers as we head into the day on Friday. It will still stay very mild and above freezing, so we will be thawing out completely as we do head into the end of this week with our temperatures that will be more than 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year.
Natalie, thanks. Starting on Sunday, Ohio will be the 31st state with legalized sports betting, but that's led to a concern about a possible rise in gambling addiction. The state set aside 2% of the tax revenue for treatment of problem gambling. James Pilcher explains the safeguards that are in place.
University of Cincinnati social work associate professor Gregory Stewart says there are about 250,000 people in Ohio currently with a gambling problem. 16% of those are under the age of 18. He says it's hard to predict how much those numbers will go up with legalized sports betting, especially since gamblers can place wagers on their smartphones. The number could be big. UC is one of 6 organizations statewide to get an Ohio grant to train social workers to better handle problem gamblers in the coming year. Ohio is getting 10% of the revenue after winnings are paid in tax revenues. The state is committing to spend 2% of that total to fund treatment and prevention. Gambling company executives say they have strong safeguards in place. Online gamblers can put themselves on do not bet lists if they recognize they have a problem, or put betting limits or cooling off periods in place, for example. In Cincinnati, this is James Pilcher.
A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal. A Dayton-based business management consultant has won a seat on a $650 million 5-year VA contract. JJR Solutions will work alongside 16 other companies on the Accelerating Veterans Affairs Innovation and Learning Contract Vehicle. So that'll allow the VA to release task orders for innovation services in personalized care, data transformation, immersive technology, and care and service delivery. Now, JJR Solutions is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. And we have more information if you'd like to read more about it at Dayton247now.com. You can find that story and others like it. Just look under the Dayton Business Journal heading. 4 days until the Buckeyes take on the #1 Georgia Bulldogs in the college football playoff semifinal. The Buckeyes say they are embracing that underdog world. Clay Hall is in Atlanta ahead of the Peach Bowl with what we can expect.
Hey, good evening to you, Dayton, and welcome to downtown ATL, just outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in the heart of the Peach State as Ohio State gets set for that titanic struggle on Saturday night with the #1 and defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Our Columbus crew have certainly waged battle here, and now the Buckeyes get to do the same as they hope to salvage the season. Little tough to say about 11 in 1 year, but the Bucks coming off that very tough Michigan loss and now a chance to really set the record straight against an incredibly good team in Georgia. Get this, Stetson Bennett, C.J. Stroud, now adversaries in the game on Saturday night. They were almost teammates. C.J. Stroud said today Georgia finished second in that recruiting battle. He'll talk about that. You'll hear why the Buckeyes sort of beat the odds there at the end and won his signature on National Signing Day. And we also chop it up with Kirk Herbstreit, the voice of college football, takes a bit of a shot from a former Georgia player and now coach. We'll see if Herbie has a comebacker soon enough. That's it for now. Let's go back to Dayton.
Well, no one won the jackpot Friday in the Mega Millions lottery drawing, so that jackpot has grown to $565 million. So that's been rolling since October when tickets sold in California and Florida shared a $502 million prize. The cash option for all 5 numbers plus the Mega Ball, that'll get you $293 million. The next drawing tonight at 11, so you still have time to get your tickets.
Well, climbing temperatures are in the forecast. We got a big warm up on the way. Well, how much warmer exactly are we going to get? So we were 9 below zero. That was our low temperature on Friday of last week. Keep in mind, wind chills dropped as low as 36 degrees below zero. Heading into our Friday, we're talking lower 50s, 52, so 61 degrees warmer by the end of this week. Adding in what our wind chill was, it's going to feel over 80 degrees warmer by the end of this week. So we're talking about some drastic changes. Here you can see our future temperatures over these next several days. So 40s tomorrow, we do climb above freezing. Sunshine tomorrow. Really, tomorrow is going to be a nice day. Hopefully you get out and enjoy it because clouds build back in on Thursday. Now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do have those lower 50s, but we also have is rain that's going to be pushing its way into the forecast as well. So you'll have to plan around that for your New Year's Eve plans. So I'm going to time that out for you, talk about our next 7 days coming up here in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. Well, as you mentioned, the weather outside getting a little less frightful. There's still a lot you can do with your family before New Year's. Still have some options if you're off work this week.
And it's now time for your TikTok of the day. I asked our Dayton 24/7 Now newsroom about their New Year's resolutions.
What is your New Year's resolution?
I want to eat more whole foods, so less junk and processed foods next year.
What is your New Year's resolution?
I want to stay more organized next year. Keep everything all nice and neat.
That's a good one.
My New Year's resolution is to eat healthier this year.
I want to read 2 books a month.
Nice.
So I don't have a New Year's resolution, but I have a word of the year, and I think this year my word is going to be success, and I'm going to just try to achieve that as the year goes on.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
The weather over the weekend may have thrown off some of your holiday plans, but if you're still off work, there are some family fun options for you. Alex King explains.
It's always a great time here at Kings Island. On Twitter, the park announced its closing because of the winter storm with the intention of opening yesterday, but unfortunately due to extensive water line damage caused by the extremely cold temperatures, that was delayed. But not to worry, the park is officially back open today through December 31st. The Riverscape Metro Park ice rink also back open after shutting down over the weekend because of the freezing temperatures and wind. These are two great places to visit, and if you get too cold out here, they both have somewhere you could go to warm up. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and temperatures will be climbing as well, so that's good news. But if you do need to get your car washed, next couple of days actually looking pretty good for us. Both our Wednesday and our Thursday shaping up beautifully. We got sunshine tomorrow. Same thing with our Thursday. Temperature-wise, will be back up into the 50s. Now, if you don't want to wash your car, there is going to be a natural car wash by the end of the week and into the weekend, as we will see some rain back in the mix for us. But pretty much a no-go for Friday, as we will be tracking some showers in the forecast. But if you really wanted to get that car deep clean, Wednesday and Thursday looking pretty good for that. I know all the cars kind of a little grimy after all the winter weather that made its way through and the treatments on the roads. Here's a look at what we're expecting over our next 7 days, because we do have that rain both Friday and our Saturday. It does look like it will linger into our early Sunday with our temperatures that will be in the 50s. So that will be above normal high 39. So more than 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year, with those 50s for this weekend. Mostly cloudy on Monday, back up close to 60 even by next Tuesday, with some showers in the forecast too. But pretty good looking forecast next couple of days. Honestly, 42 and sunshine tomorrow.
That's going to feel like 80 compared to what we've had the last several days.
Going to be nice, especially to see a little bit of that sun around tomorrow too.
That's good for the soul, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's right.
All right, well, that does it for us. We are over on Fox 45 next. In the meantime, you can always connect with us on social media. Have a good evening.